Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by Gulf Coast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have provided North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 25 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net.
And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus, brought to you by the team from Gulf Coast Financial Services, founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. As always, our resource for a common sense approach to planning and all of the information that we need on the aspects and the challenges of planning for our financial and retirement future. John, welcome back in.
Thanks, Peter. It's great to be here. I guess I'm the old sage, huh? I'm so old, I know a little bit about everything and nothing about anything.
Well, a generational firm there at Gulf Coast Financial Services. You got your son and grandson in the business as well, but yeah, you've got seniority. So
I do have seniority, that's for sure. And I'm feeling it every day, Peter.
Well, we appreciate the insight and the guidance that you do provide through that experience, which is always going to be helpful for others to learn from, John.
We were doing a coffee talk video this morning, which is on our website, and we do those once a month. And I told Brent as we were doing that, I said, you know, the thing is that I've made all the mistakes because nobody told me that we are keeping our clients from doing now. So they're learning from me going forward first. And so I think that's a great way to do it. And I tell you, I love what I do. I don't plan on quitting. It's great to work with your son and your grandson and all the great clients that we have. So I can't figure out any reason to quit.
Well, we have been going over some of the common mistakes, as well as some of the strategies to help us achieve our financial goals and objectives as we have been reviewing this countdown to retirement, John, as our series here recently. And from day one of our working career, the countdown is on for all of us. But I think the information that you have included in this series of reports, the 5 planning mistakes to avoid, the 4 approaches to long-term care, the 3 biggest expenses in retirement, and how to plan to control them, all of these are very important topics for us to address to help seize on opportunities, to help us strategize to be more efficient, and maybe most importantly, to help us avoid the mistakes that others have made. So let's talk about these 5 planning mistakes to avoid. I think, you know, if we can avoid any mistake in our planning, it's going to be beneficial for us.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Peter, that the first one is the thing that we talk about almost every show, and that is that guaranteed retirement income plan.
Yep.
And so many people put that off because, you know, they are working every week and they've got a paycheck coming in and they're living their lives and their families are growing and everything's happening to them. But they forget that one day they're going to provide that weekly check or that monthly check. And so they forget to get that guaranteed income plan, which, you know, I don't think you can start too soon with that.
Yeah.
I think the sooner you start on that plan, the better you're going to be coming up with a way that we can generate a guaranteed, predictable, sustainable income that no matter how long you're retired, you know, today we're talking about 25 to 30 years. In the future, we're going to be talking about 35, 45 years.
Yep.
So the plan was flexible and it will work no matter what age you are. But we forget to do that. And I think that's the number one problem with most retirement plans.
Well, luckily, the government sort of compulsory enrolls us in a portion of this. With the first dollar that we earn, they're taking some of it for that Social Security benefit. And in our acronym society, where we like to shorten everything with a nice acronym, this is the grip that you're going to have on retirement. You need to get a grip on your guaranteed retirement income plan, those guaranteed sources of retirement, because, John, those guaranteed sources being Social Security and pensions, the more that we can get from those, the less strain and stress and reliance we're placing on our personal assets, but we still need to formulate the plan for how to complement the GRIP, the guaranteed retirement income
Right.
plan, with the personal assets that we've saved and accumulated.
Well, I think that, our society now and our generation, after the boomers, the generations before the boomers, are looking at investment assets, looking at how they're taking their 401ks and how they're investing them in the market. They're not looking at how they're going to get income out of that and have it be sustainable for their retirement life. And so, like I said, the sooner we get a grip, the sooner we get that plan, the better we can make it in the end for us and also our survivors.
Yep. 5 planning mistakes to avoid. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like a copy of this report physically or digitally to go over on your own time with your spouse, with your family, with your loved ones, give a call to Gulf Coast Financial Services. They're more than happy to provide that for you. Or if you'd like to go over this with the team specifically to make sure that maybe you're not making any of these mistakes in your planning, pick up the phone, give a call either way, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. John, number 2 on this list of 5 planning mistakes to avoid: taking inappropriate risks. Now, that could probably go on either end of the spectrum, right? Too much risk or too little risk could be classified as inappropriate.
Yeah, it's amazing to me the number of people that we meet with who were in the market, invested in the market. We had a downturn in 2002, 2008, or even this last downturn, which was very short-lived because of COVID-19. They've gone so safe that they're not making any money. And so they're making 1%. Inflation is probably 3, close to 3 anyway. So they're losing money, losing purchasing power. So you can hurt yourself just as bad by taking too little risk as you can by taking too much risk. We always like to say, Peter, that we should take as much risk as we can take and still be able to sleep at night. Now, that doesn't mean that, that when technology's up, I need all of my money in Apple, because sooner or later Apple will come down. Or as I used to joke with a client of ours, I don't want to be in the Jacobs Internet Fund, which made a ton of money and now is gone.
Yeah, pets.com, back in the .com bubble, right?
Yeah. So we need to take risk in order to get the return that we need on our investments, because we have to make enough to outdo inflation. And as I said, the money that we have, people treat these 401ks and these retirement accounts like they're free money. They're not free money. It's your money that you put aside pre-tax out of your paycheck. And so we need to treat it like it's yours and like you want to take care of it. And we need to be good stewards of it while we have it. So too little, too much, get the right amount, find out what your risk profile is, and then invest that way.
I saw some interesting stats in a graph recently, John, of Social Security's cost of living adjustment since the year 2000. The average recipient received about $860 in the year 2000. Today, because of the COLA, the cost of living adjustment, that has increased to just over $1,200 a month. So a reasonable increase there, yet the actual purchasing power of that benefit should have grown to over $1,600 in the 20 years that have passed since the year 2000. And so we've effectively lost money safely with that Social Security benefit, not keeping up with inflation. And I think that is where, if with our own personal assets, we need to make sure that we're at least keeping up with that purchasing power and true cost of living.
That's true. I mean, we can't just put the money in a mattress and expect it to grow. It's not going to do that. It's not like a mushroom. We can't put it in the dark and watch it grow. So we have to have it invested in the right assets. I read an article the other day that says that, I can't remember the numbers now, Peter, but you need a financial advisor. The investors who had financial advisors made more money than those that didn't have a financial advisor. You need to have a captain of the team helping you making suggestions to you, pushing you to do what's right for your money.
Absolutely. Well, number 3 on this list, and again, we're running down one of
Yeah.
the reports in the series of the Countdown to Retirement, but this report is the 5 planning mistakes to avoid. Number 3 on the list is a gross planning mistake. John, this is unfortunately something that a lot of us just overlook, and it really kind of comes back to bite us in retirement in what our expectations are versus what reality we actually find there.
Yeah, you know, this is talking about deferring taxes when we're saving for retirement. And the government's kind of taught us to do that. They've set up the 401ks, they've set up these retirement accounts. And so they've taught us to defer that money, telling us that when we took it out later in retirement, that it would be cheaper, it would be better for us. And in the meantime, they've indexed Medicare and Social Security, the amount of taxes on Social Security, by the amount of money we pull out of these accounts. So we end up paying taxes on that money. Plus we also have to pay more if we're not careful for Medicare and for Medicare Part B. And also more of our Social Security is actually subject to taxes. And you know, I read more and more about the debt, the amount of debt we have in the country, and how we're going to pay for that. And I don't think there's anyone listening who will say that we're going to lower taxes, because we can't. The only way that we can do this is to cut spending or to lower or raise taxes. We're not going to cut spending because we can't, but we can raise taxes. And people forget that during World War II, we paid over 90% was a tax rate, the top tax rate.
Yeah.
You know,
come down significantly from those days.
Yeah. I mean, we're sitting now, what, 38 is the top one, right around there. So there's a lot of room for it to grow. So what's going to happen to a lot of us, I'm afraid, is as we enter this retirement, we're going to be subject to higher taxes. So we're going to have less money to actually live on, and it's going to affect us financially. So that's why we have to do things like Roth IRA conversions now while the taxes are low. Put more of your money in a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA. Look at life insurance, which has become a tremendous amount of savings power with tax-free income to you if you need it for life. So we need to look at some of the alternatives and be ready for that, because all this money we're deferring, and I know I've deferred a lot of it. Luckily, I started with a Roth IRA and got a good bit of money into that. But also for legacy planning, because now under that new Secure Act, those IRAs and 401ks, you got to take that out over 10 years if you and your spouse are both deceased. So that's going to make your heirs pay money faster, pay taxes faster, and it's going to hurt them and compound their earning power. So it's just a catch-22.
It's like three or four additional factors, not just the taxation on the money that we take as withdrawals, but how it impacts Social Security, how it impacts our beneficiaries, what conversion strategies or what strategies there are available to address this issue, the way that income affects our Medicare premiums being means tested. So a lot goes into this question of the gross planning mistake, which is, of course, ignoring the tax implications on our retirement savings and income. It's not the gross dollars. It's not what we have. It's what we actually get to keep and spend from our money that matters. And those are net amounts. And we've got to plan proactively for that tax consequence. And again, a lot of people have forgotten this, overlooked it. You don't want to do that. It's going to cause you to have to burn through your retirement nest egg faster than you expected. Pick up the phone, give a call to Gulf Coast Financial Services, their sister company, Gulf Coast Tax Advantage. They can look at things in a coordinated way, connecting the financial side and the tax side and making sure that you understand your tax implications and are not making that gross planning mistake.
Well, you know, Peter, one thing is that I read last night that I think it's 2033 now that the Social Security is supposed to
Yep.
run out of money
Yep.
and only be able to pay out 78 cents on the dollar.
A literal case of the candle being burnt at both ends. It keeps getting closer
Yeah.
and closer from both sides.
Yeah, when they first started this in 2017, it was like 2040 something.
Yep.
And now that's shortened. And that's only 13 years away.
Yep.
And so there are some people that are going to be retiring in 13 years that may be paying 30, 40% more taxes and are going to be taking a 26%, 28% haircut on their Social Security payment. So they're going to get it hit from both ends.
Yep.
Really.
Number 4 on this list of the 5 planning mistakes to avoid is not caring enough to plan for long-term care. And this is a big one, perhaps on this list, John, potentially the most devastating mistake to overlook.
Yeah, it is, Peter, because a lot of people think that the government's going to take care of them. They're not. Medicare's not set up for this. Social Security isn't set up for this. Medicaid will actually provide you care, provided you spend down your assets. And they will also take all of your personal income and leave your spouse a little pittance to live on. And when you look at it overall, we have to take care of ourselves. And if you've done a good job and built up your assets to where they should be, then with all the alternative ways to provide long-term care, the alternative annuities that we have that can provide a benefit for long-term care at home or in a facility. Life insurance is another one that pays a terminal or critical illness benefit. Those are all ways that we need to provide so that we have that long-term care benefit covered, because the government's not going to take care of you. They can't.
Yeah.
It's not physically possible.
No. On one hand, as we just said, Social Security already stating that it doesn't really have enough to remain fully funded. And
Right.
So then turning around and saying, well, but I'm going to rely on the government to carry me through and cover all of these long-term care expenses, which can be astronomical in the amount.
Yeah.
John, I know that you run into well-to-do, well-off, astute investors, high net worth individuals from time to time that say I'm self-insured. When I think of insurance, though, it's about leveraging money and transferring risk. So I don't use $25,000. Sorry.
Okay.
So I don't use $25,000 to insure my $25,000 car. That just wouldn't make sense. But when somebody says I'm self-insured, they are essentially saying I am willing to utilize the entirety of my portfolio to provide the protection for these long-term care expenses. When, John, literally, they probably could do this for a fraction of the amount, just a 1 or 2% what they would earn on this money in a given year.
Sure. Well, the thing about it is, when you look at these alternative ways to provide long-term care, your money's actually earning while it's working to provide you this benefit. So it's not like putting it aside. Long-term care insurance didn't work. That was something that we couldn't actuarially insure. We never should have started it, because there's no way to predict how long somebody's going to be in a nursing home.
The insurance companies had problems with this being a viable product. Now, it's not the consumers that shouldn't have done this. They absolutely should have grabbed that when they had the chance. But the insurance companies say this is not profitable for us and have largely just exited that product.
Yeah, everybody's out of it now. I got a notice yesterday that one of my clients is going to be facing a 20% increase in his premium this year and next year, and then they'll see after that. But we're so far in it, we have to keep it. So there are alternatives that are cheap, that still earn us money, that can provide that care for us. Why wouldn't we take part of our assets and try to cover that so that it just leverages our dollars?
Yep.
It's kind of like using somebody else's money to make money for myself. Why wouldn't I do that?
Yep. It's all about leverage and protection and being as efficient as possible. Speaking of which, number 5 on this list, rounding home here in 5 planning mistakes to avoid, is not using Social Security to provide effective financial security. John, we've worked a lifetime to build this benefit. Once we make that decision, it is going to impact the rest of the duration of our lifetime. why do people feel like it doesn't deserve, 2 hours of time and attention to really get educated on, are we making the best decision on this?
Well, there are, even though we had an act that closed a lot of the ways that we can file for Social Security, there still are some alternative ways we can use. And so everybody needs to at least get a maximizing Social Security report that shows you the different ways that you can maximize your report, your Social Security. I always think back to the client I have who is divorced. She is on her own. She's still working, but she's in her 60s, mid 60s. She could have filed for her Social Security. I told her, I said, wait a minute, your ex-husband, we can file on his, let yours grow till 70, and you can get $900 a month free for the next 5 years. And so she goes down to Social Security and they say, oh, no, you don't want to do that. His benefit's not as big as yours. You need to file on yours. So she comes back and calls me. She says, look, I went down there. This is what happened. I said, look, you go back and tell them this is what we want to do because we figured it out. This is a way for you to get a $3,400 check versus a $2,300 check for the rest of your life. You're working right now, and it's free money. It's a card payment for you if that's what you want.
Yeah.
So why not do it? But Social Security is not there to give you help. They're there to do what you tell them.
Yeah.
They're going to look at your numbers and say, this is what it is, and you can file this way. Why not get a maximization of Social Security report and you can use it? But, the thing of it is, Peter, is those reports are fairly new. We've only had them out in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. And I don't think that we as advisors have done a really good job of educating people on how to use it. And so we don't push it hard enough. Yeah. We try to get everyone that does that income plan with us. We want them to look at Social Security, taxes, and income all in one package. We want to maximize everything we can possibly do.
Well, again, this is just part of the planning process there at Gulf Coast Financial Services. That comprehensive review and evaluation will go over all of the aspects of planning. How much risk are you taking? How much are you paying in fees? How much are you liable for in taxes into the future? How to maximize your Social Security? How to minimize the stress and strain and reliance on your personal assets? How to transition the asset base, the retirement nest egg that you have, into the income that you'll need it to produce for you into and throughout retirement. What additional risks can you address and minimize? It's all part of that process. And if you'd like to get started with this report of the 5 planning mistakes to avoid, or the comprehensive packet of reports of the countdown to retirement, or if you'd like to go over any of these on an individual basis with the team, pick up the phone, give a call now, 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. You can also visit online, gulfcoastfinancial.net. Lots of great additional resources available there. Tools, calculators, the Coffee Talk series that John and the team do, as well as previous editions of the podcast. If you're looking for information on any specific topic, you can probably find it there on the blog, Gulf Coast Financial Services, gulfcoastfinancial.net, gulfcoastfinancial.net, and on social media platforms, search for Gulf Coast Financial, Gulf Coast Financial Services. John, you're out there. People can find you if they want to.
But we have a lot to say, and we want to get it out to people so they can get educated. I think it's really important. Part of our mission is education, and we want people to understand what's available.
Absolutely. They do a good job of getting it out there, folks. It's up to you to take advantage of it. Pick up the phone, give a call, go online, go on your social media, your favorite platform. You can find Gulf Coast Financial Services, and they are here to help and assist offices in Lake City, offices in Gainesville for convenience, but serving the area savers and investors. If you're taking your planning and your financial future seriously, they are a resource for you. Pick up the phone, give them a call, 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018. John, we always appreciate the time that you share with us here on the program.
Thank you, Peter. It was great to be here. Enjoyed it, really. Thanks.
Always appreciate it. Always our resource, and looking forward to hearing from you and helping you in any way they can there at Gulf Coast Financial Services. Give them a call today. 386-755-9018. Talk to you soon.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting gulfcoastfinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.